What is an arthropod? An arthropod is an invertebrate animal, which is an exoskeleton of chitin, a series of paired jointed appendages and segmented body parts. All arthropods have an exoskeleton. Now here we have an exoskeleton of a lobster, and it's made out of chitin, and it's a hard and durable substance. So basically think of this as protection or maybe armor for the invertebrate. All arthropods have appendages, and appendages are basically extra body parts or external body parts that connect to a main body part. So for example, here we have the jointed appendages, and they lead up to the big abdomen or segmented body parts. All arthropods have segmentation, and segmentation is basically when there's different like areas or different parts, and each part of the body has a specific function so that the arthropod can live, or animal. Arthropods grow through molting, and I found this very interesting. Here we have footage of a king crab, and he's basically coming out of his old shell because he's getting too big. And so basically he has to make a new shell and then comes out of the old one. I thought this was pretty cool. So there are two types of cuticle. This is based on movement, by the way, and it assists the movement of the arthropod. One is stiff, one is flexible. The more flexible cuticle makes the joints, and the stiff one are more of the exoskeleton. When muscles stretching across the exoskeleton joints contract, the bends the joint, and the arthropods can move. The cuticle supporting arthropod acts like a spring and is efficiently storing and releasing. So basically, this guy, arthropods are really fast. Well, most of them. But look at this guy. Look at him. The cameraman can't even keep up with him. He's going so fast. Yeah, that's an arthropod right there. That's what I'm talking about. That's an arthropod. So basically, he runs really fast, or they run really fast, and they don't get tired at all. I wish I was like that. Man, that's like a superpower. Arthropods have open circulatory systems, and this is interesting because basically they don't have blood pressure, and that allows them to live under really large depths, or under depths of water. So they have to move to get blood pressure. Arthropods' main senses consist of sensory organs, including the antennae, their modified cuticles, and detect temperature, touch, sound, and smell. And here I have a large assortment of antennas. I haven't seen like most of these, but I've only seen A, and I don't know about G. But moving on to the good stuff. There are 4 types of arthropod groups. Now, here's a little story. There was another arthropod group, but they were called the trilobites. And they were an arthropod group, but they don't matter now because they're all dead. Crustaceans. I love crustaceans. I love eating crustaceans. I love crustaceans in general. They're cool. So basically, they're the big aquatic part of the arthropod groups. And yeah, so there are a bunch of crustaceans. If you ever eaten like a prawn or a crab or a crayfish, do people? I'm pretty sure people eat all kinds of animals, the weirdest ones. I don't know. If you've ever eaten like seafood, that's basically a crustacean. And they branch in to 4 different types of crustaceans, which are the Branchiopoda, the Maxillopoda, Ostracoda, and the Malacostraca. Yeah. And yeah, this is a good picture I have. This is very nice picture actually, and it gives you a nice example of how it separates, or they go into different types of categories or groups. Okay. Next up, we got the arachnids. Yes, everybody's least favorite part of arthropods. I mean, I like them. They're pretty cool. And basically, when you think of arachnids, you gotta think of spiders. Yep, the spiders. The eight-legged, I think eight, right? Correct, eight-legged spiders. So yeah. And basically, arachnida, or is a class of joint-legged invertebrate animals. Arthropods, in general, is a Cephalum Charliticata. Okay, this source is very professional. Not really professional, but it's just really detailed. And in the Cephalum Charliticata, spiders are the largest order in the class, which also includes scorpions, ticks, mites, harvestmen, and solifiges. Yeah, they're pretty cool. Basically, spiders. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So basically, myriapods just have a ridiculous amount of little legs, and they're invertebrates that just have like thousands or hundreds or billions of legs. Not billions, but just in general a lot of legs. And those are the centipedes, the millipedes, all the peds that there are in the world have a lot of the legs. And those are myriapods. We also got insects. That's pretty basic what an insect is. If you don't know what an insect is, I highly suggest you research on that, because if you don't know what an insect is, then you probably have no idea what I'm talking about. And there's a very loud plane going by. Yeah. We got insect adaptations, and there are different type of adaptations, and it comes down to different situations that the arthropods encounter. So there's either dominant terrestrial interactions, or where they have to undergo metamorphosis. And that is basically it's a process. There's a incomplete process and the complete process of metamorphosis. I have a nice picture here that kind of explains it, but it goes from the egg to the nymph, all right, to the nymph stages, which is kind of like the little baby. It comes from the pupa. The pupa. I actually did an experiment in this in I think it was, I want to say it was second grade, and we had grab a caterpillar, and we would take care of it, and it would turn into the pupa, right? And it would hatch into a butterfly, and then we gotta let it go, and then it got eaten by a bird. Not really, but I let it go. So yeah, that was a pretty cool project. We should do that sometime, maybe one day. I went on rant about metamorphosis, but yeah, it's basically the whole life stage, and it's really it's simple, but it's just it's basically life. We got arthropods and humans. Oh yeah. Now, us humans, we absolutely despise those cockroaches. The ones that come out at night and eat little crumbs you left on the floor. Those types. Now, actually, one story. One time, I dropped a pizza crust, and then all the cockroaches came up, lifted it, and took it away. That was crazy. Anyways, insecticide. everybody uses insecticide, and it's weird because sometimes it doesn't work because they've gotten so used to it. The cockroaches have gotten so used to the insecticide that basically they get immune to it, which is crazy. Let's see. Oh, there's been a lot of diseases with arthropods, arthropod vectors. It's very complicated. Such as ticks, bed bugs. They've been a really big problem, and they've caused a lot of illness or harm to somebody. And okay, so here we have the arthropod vectors. And quick example, as the tick feeds on the host's blood, microscopic pathogens, right? They pass from the host, or pass from the tick to the host. So they just basically pass pathogens. Okay. And they don't really affect the tick, but they actually affect the host, which is creepy. So it has caused a bunch of problems in human race, such as the bubonic plague, the yellow fever, malaria, which we have today, but it's getting better. I mean, coronavirus is kind of in the way of everything in life. Also, the West Nile virus. I've never heard of this one, but it was basically with the birds infected with the virus, and it was discovered in Africa, and it came to like the United States for like a few people, but it's not really a big deal anymore. I think, hopefully it's not, but yes, this concludes my epic presentation video thing, so I hope you like. Thanks. Sorry. Hey. Man, I told those kids to be quiet, but they never be quiet. So, anyways, yeah. Thanks for watching this video. I mean, I'm presenting, but whatever. It's okay. So, yeah.